One of the biggest mysteries of science is the question of what things are made of. Scientists think if we can zoom into material reality, we will eventually find the answer to this mystery. Eventually, we will find the object from which all objects come from. What would this object look like? You can figure out the answer to this mystery through a simple thought exercise. If you zoom into matter, you'll find smaller and smaller things. For example, if you look through a microscope, you might see a cell. If you zoom into the cell, you'll find molecules. If you zoom into molecules, you'll find atoms. If you zoom into an atom, you'll find something even smaller like an electron. But here's the thing. We tend to notice the object, but we pay no attention to the background. We forget that you can't see the shape of an object, like a cell or a molecule or an atom, without a background. So when we zoom into matter, we don't just find smaller objects, we also find the backgrounds to those objects. The object and the background go together, they're a pair. If you take a telescope and look out into the universe, the same thing happens. You see larger objects like planets and stars, but you can only see these objects with the background of space. If you continue to zoom out, you would see the galaxy, but only with the background of space. If you continue to zoom out even more, you would see the entire universe, but only with a background. Without the background, you would not be able to see the object's shape or form, and therein lies the problem. If you zoom in or zoom out, it makes no difference. You see the same thing, an object with a background. If the object has a background, it means that there is something behind it. If we finally get to the bottom of this mystery and discover the object of all objects, what would it look like? Well, if it's the final object, it means that there's nothing else behind it. It means the object has no background. What would an object with no background look like? It's hard to imagine an object with no background because you've never seen an object with no background. But if you did, what would it look like? Well, imagine an object with no edges, or borders, or boundaries. What would that look like? Imagine a circle that has nothing outside of the circle. What would that look like? If you can imagine what that would look like, you can begin to understand what the object of all objects would look like. It would look like a background, or more specifically, a never-ending background. This means the smallest conceivable object and the largest conceivable object would look the same. Both will look like an infinite background.